You are Black in the Green Room with me, your host, Keith Underwood. And this is your spot for real talk about entertainment with entertainers, creatives, and showbiz professionals. We welcome a man whose life and work are woven into the fabric of American music history. As the son of Motown founder Berry Gordy, Kerry Gordy has built an impressive career in his own right. From artist management to business ventures that bridge music, television, and cultural storytelling, his latest project, Sunday Best, the untold story of Ed Sullivan on Netflix, takes us behind the curtain of a television legend who broke racial barriers and opened doors for countless Black artists to shine on a national stage. Kerry's work both honors Ed Sullivan's courageous inclusivity and reminds us how moments of representation can shape generations. Kerry Gordy, welcome to the room.
What's happening, Keith, my brother?
How you doing today?
You know what? My life is amazing. I'm doing great. If you can imagine growing up in from a child in the Motown universe, where your
Yes.
friends were the Temptations and Michael Jackson and Diana Ross and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye. If you can imagine growing up in that, let's call it the kingdom of Motown, and where
Yes.
you're a prince, right? I have no complaints.
Yeah, that's wonderful, man. I mean, growing up in the Gordy family, what's one lesson from your father that still shapes the way you navigate the entertainment industry today?
What's that? I didn't hear what you said.
No,
What's
I
what?
said, what's one lesson that you learned from your pops that influence your how you navigate business today?
Okay, well, first of all, the one major thing is if you have belief in something, you stick with it until it comes to fruition. You don't give up if you believe. Let me give you an example. The Supremes went 7 records
Right.
before Where Did Our Love Go? And people were telling my father, you got to drop the Supremes. They don't have hits. They are no good. He's like, listen, that girl in the front is amazing. And if
Mhm.
we don't get a hit on her, it's not her fault because I picked her because I knew she was amazing. So
Mhm.
we're going to do everything that we have to do because we got something wrong. Either we got the songs wrong or we got the marketing wrong or we got the distribution wrong or we got, whatever the promotion wrong. But the fact of the matter is that it's not their fault. It's our fault. And I'm sticking with that. And I don't care if she never has a hit because I know she's great. And that
Mhm.
was the same scenario with the Temptations. Temptations went 8 records before
Right.
where you do the things you do, right?
Right.
People don't know that. They think that that was their first record, right?
Hmm.
Stevie went 3, 4 years between fingertips, and I was made to love her. Right? People were saying, drop that little blind kid. He's no good. Blah, blah, blah. My father's like, I will never drop Stevie. I don't care what happens. Right?
Hmm.
So if you are good and you believe in yourself, don't let those outside forces come and tell you, come and let you go against your beliefs.
Hmm.
Right? So
Yes.
that's the biggest, I guess, business lesson that I got from him.
Hmm.
If you believe in it, believe in yourself.
Yeah. Man,
Right?
what do you do to keep yourself up during those down times when you're, trying to keep pushing forward with whatever that endeavor is?
Well, the key is doing something that you love.
Hmm.
Because if you do something that you love and you're never working, you're always playing. So the
Hmm.
fact of the matter is that I was always doing something that I loved no matter what. And that gets you through all of the negative stuff where other people would give up.
Hmm.
Right? And I'm doing something that I love. So I would do this whether I'm making money at it or whether I'm not making money at it because I love to do it. I'm sorry. I love to play the keyboard. Right?
Right.
And so I'm going to sit down and play the keyboard whether somebody's paying me or somebody's not paying me. But that's what I love to do. I love working with artists. I'm going to do that whether I'm making money. Now, if you do what you love, you're going to be better at it
Hmm.
because you're doing something and you're getting all of this experience in it, right? And so
Right.
to that end, you're going to be better at it because you love to do it. Michael Jackson
Hmm.
loved to dance. He loved to sing.
Hmm.
Prince loved to play. He loved to perform. He loved to write. Loved, not just like, he loved to do it. And those guys would have done that had they never been successful. That's what they would have done,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely. You've worn so many hats, Kerry. You've been a producer, a manager, entrepreneur. Which
Yeah.
role has been the most challenging for you and why?
Well, okay. So I've done first of all, because my father owned Motown and I started in the mail room, right?
Right.
For 3 years. I
Right.
was
For
able
three
to
years.
3 years, yes.
Wow.
I was able to go through every division of the company and learn every single division. And then I was also able to be an artist. I was a teen idol for a couple of years with Apollo, right?
Right, right, right.
And then and I was also able to go into business affairs and learn the legal side of it and the finance side of it for 2 or 3 years apiece, right?
Hmm.
So I have a very unique perspective that most people don't have. And right now, as you may or may not know, I'm kind of the Robin Hood of the music side of the entertainment business
Hmm.
because I'm the guy who terminates contracts for people who assign their rights over early in their careers before they had the leverage to make the best deals for themselves. So I'm the
Wow.
guy who goes up against Universal, Sony, Warner Brothers, right? And all of the major publishing companies. So what I loved, I guess, okay, I love all aspects of it. I love producing records. I love producing films. I just love it because the producer is the person who actually puts it all together. You're hiring everybody, you're making sure you have the finance, you're making sure you have everything. I love producing. So whether it's a record or whether it's a film, I love that. Management, I don't love so much. But the reason I don't love it so much is because you do all of this work for all of these people, you make them the biggest stars in the world, and they get 80% of your money.
Right, right.
No, no, uh, no. Management is a thing where you have to be, let's call it a high paid flunky and the best
Mm,
friend of that person. Uh,
hmm.
so my greatest management client, though, who I love, which people can't believe that I say this, is my greatest management client, who's the one I love the most, who I had the most fun with,
Hmm.
who loved me the best,
Yes.
was Rick James, bitch.
Come on now.
Rick James, right?
Yes.
I love me some Rick James, man, because Rick, even though he was crazy and way out there and blah, 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 he believed in me. And
Yes.
anything that I said, he did. And it didn't
Hmm.
matter if he was doing the drugs, it didn't matter what it was. But if I wanted to do it or if I said it, he did it. And no matter if he was drugged out or whatever it is, he never missed his dates. Whenever I needed him to a place, he was there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Very entrepreneurial, producing records for other people. I mean, it just and an amazing talent. I think he was one of the best producers that I worked with as well as just a genuine producer.
Yes. The entertainment industry is very, very different nowadays than the days of Motown. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges for Black creatives today?
Well, it's not just for Black creatives; it's for all creatives.
Hmm.
The biggest challenge is that in the early days with Motown and Warner Brothers and all of these other companies, you had a job and we had a job.
Mm.
Your job was to bring your talent. Our job was to put the resources around you to exploit that talent and to market that talent and promote that talent, distribute that talent, so forth and so on, right? Now, so therefore, all Michael Jackson in the beginning had to do was sing and dance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he had to do, right? And he was exceptional at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, that same Michael Jackson would not only have to sing and dance, but they would have to figure out a way to get a social media presence so that they
Mm-hmm.
could get the attention of someone who is going to put the resource behind them. But the point is that the person that's going to put the resource behind them, that marketing person, they're looking for you to market yourself
Mm-hmm.
before they pick you up. And your skill, your left brain, right brain, might not be a marketing skill.
Mm-hmm.
Your skill might be singing and dancing, right? So I don't know if a Michael Jackson would have happened today uh,
Wow.
in the developments in his development stages. Obviously, he became a writer and a businessman. But the point is that I don't know if that same scenario would happen today with someone who's just purely talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are your thoughts on talent versus social media presence?
Okay, first of all, I think that it's it's the it's the see, there are two sales that always have to be made. The first sell is to the person that you need to blow you up and sell you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second sell is when that person sends you out to the public. So it's much harder for a person with nothing to say, okay, listen, I'm a great singer. I'm going to put myself on social media and I'm going to make it happen for myself. Because realistically, they see it happen every once in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say 100 people a year blow up from the internet, right? And
Mm-hmm.
all of these millions and 80, 90 million kids see this and they think, oh, that can happen for me. But
Mm-hmm.
literally, if you're talking about 100 million kids and 100 people who blow up, that's 1 in a million.
Right, right. Yeah, the odds are still against you.
Literally
Yes.
1 in a million.
Yeah.
Uh, what was the question? I forgot.
No, I was asking what were your thoughts on talent versus social media presence?
oh, yes. So,
You you were moving in the
no,
right
what
direction.
I'm saying is that, and these executives, all they want to do is see that you have an audience that they can now commission. So
Mhm.
if you have a 10 million audience, you might not be as talented as somebody that has 50,000 audience, but they're
Mhm.
going to go to the 10 million audience. Now, here's the thing. You can have 10 million audience because you're sitting up on the internet going, I'm on the toilet, I'm on the toilet, I'm on the toilet,
Right.
right? Right?
Right. Right.
Right? With
Yes.
no talent, but you got the viewership,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
So, I think it's rougher if you're a legitimate artist because what is what makes a statement so in social media is usually what is outrageous,
Hmm.
what is shocking, right? I mean, I can't imagine there being a sexy red when I was a child,
Right.
right?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, that is just, it's ridiculous. Kids should not be listening to, the 14-year-old girl should not be listening to, wait a minute, what can I say on here?
You can't say the big words.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Can I say, and you might have to cut it out, Sexy Red says, my coochie pink, my booty hole brown.
Yeah.
The hell,
Yeah.
right? That is horrible, right? But it's shocking and it gets visibility. And
Hmm.
someone at a major record company said, I'm gonna sign that,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
So Kerry, what do you think happened to class? You know, where did when did that become unpopular?
Um, when the major companies realized that they could make money by the degradation of the black human race, I think. And maybe
Mhm.
I went too far in saying that, but I'm saying that when they saw that they could make money off of felonious activities and dumbing down the black race and making it cool to
Mm.
be illiterate and making it cool to be felonious, right? I think that that's a real issue for us as a people because we had done so much to get out of there, and that's where I want to go to the Ed Sullivan
Hmm.
documentary that we did because what that documentary speaks to is everything that I'm about to tell you. You just have to tell me when we get the break, so in the next segment, I can come back and talk about that.
Right, right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the project. I just want to get the audience to get to know you and, kind of where you stand on.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Man, what has besides Ed Sullivan, because we hope that that blows up and is very, very
Well,
successful.
it's blowing up. It's blowing up thanks to people like you, people like
Excellent.
Kathy Hughes, people like Danny Bakewell, people
Mm,
like Jesse Jackson Jr., the NAACP, the AFC, the American African American Film Critics Association, and all of those people, Al Sharpton and Don Lemon, and the people that are coming to say, KG, we want people to hear this story because this is a story that people need to hear.
hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want like younger folks to know most about Ed Sullivan and what he did?
Well, first of all, see, there's 6 degrees of separation here. Okay. And what happens is that without Ed Sullivan popularizing our black our black entertainers and heroes, and humanizing them and making them look like people as opposed to these animals that we
Mm,
were portrayed to be, right? There would be today that we would not have had a black president because it was that 35 to 50 million audience that Ed Sullivan gave us the ability to be seen by at a time when there were no black people on TV. He introduced us to Sammy Davis Jr. He introduced us to Nat King Cole. He introduced us to Satchmo. He introduced us to Dinah Ross and Michael Jackson, right?
hmm.
People don't realize the struggle we went through just to get on TV.
Hmm.
I mean, the civil rights struggle and everything that was going on at the time, it's like these kids don't, it's like it was ancient history. And by the way, it wasn't that long ago because
Right.
I got to see it. You know, when I was a kid, when I was a kid, people would say stuff like, you can be anything you want. You can be president of the United States, right? And the thing about it is I would hear that, but I had no reference for that. And in my mind,
Mm,
I was like, I can't be president of the United States, right? But 50 years later, my daughter has actually seen a black president and
hmm.
seen two black girls living in the White House. So her perspective is I really can be president,
Hmm.
right? What I'm
Yes.
saying is that had it not been for Ed Sullivan to give this platform, then Berry Gordy, who developed Michael Jackson, would not
Hmm.
have had the platform to put his stuff on Ed Sullivan, which
Hmm.
then he decides, I'm going to take this Michael Jackson and I'm going to do a movie with Michael and Diana and Quincy, and we're going to do The Wiz. Now, when he does The Wiz, Michael and Quincy decide that they're going to do an album together, and they do Thriller, and it becomes the biggest album in the world.
Hmm.
Okay. And because it was the biggest album in the world, he's seen by Steven Spielberg, who is the biggest director in the world. And Steven says to Quincy, why don't we produce a movie together, The Color Purple? So Quincy and Steven Spielberg are producing this movie, and while they're producing this movie, Quincy is in Chicago and he sees this regional talk show host, Oprah Winfrey, and says, I want to put her in my movie. And he puts her in the movie, and through that popularity, her show gains national attention,
Hmm.
right? And then she's like, wait a minute, I have this platform. I'm going to support this black candidate for president, Barack Obama. And he becomes president of the United States based on all of these things that happened previously. 6 degrees of separation. The kids do not understand that right before that, there were no black people on TV at all. And it was a it was a plan not to ever let it happen.
Mm.
The
Hmm.
kids got to know that. And there's another thing. We don't want the kids to lose their history.
Right.
The fact of the matter is I was talking to a couple of college graduates the other day, and I was telling them, oh, yeah, I'm doing something with Stevie Wonder. And they were like, who's that?
Yeah.
I was like, what? How can you college graduates not know who Stevie Wonder is? 24 years old. What are you talking about? They said, well, we don't know Stevie Wonder. I said, you've never heard of Stevie Wonder? They said, no. I said, well, you've definitely heard of his songs. And they said, we don't think so. And then I went, happy birthday to ya. And they were like, oh yeah, of course. Right? And
Yes.
check this out. Stevie was the first act on Motown to go on the Ed Sullivan Show. And because of his popularity, we have the Martin Luther King holiday because he was the champion in that cause.
Yes, absolutely. Kerry, what was it about, growing up in this environment and around Ed Sullivan? What was it about that made you want to tell his story?
Okay, first of all, there's a couple things. The first thing is when I was a child, it was the only place that I could see people that looked like me.
Mm.
And obviously I was very young, so the person that I got to see, which made me excited, was Michael Jackson.
Right,
Right. But we
right.
got to see people that looked like us for the first time. And
Hmm.
so that was the thing. So what happens is that on Sunday nights, people would rush home to make sure that they got to see Ed Sullivan. And a lot of people didn't have TVs. So a lot of people would come over my house or go to a friend's house that had a TV so that they could all watch the Ed Sullivan show because you didn't know whether it was going to be the Temptations or Nat King Cole or Gladys Knight or whoever it was going to be, but there was perhaps going to be somebody black on his show. And that
Mm.
made us feel like amazing. So that was the inspiration. Now, what happens is Margot Special, who is the granddaughter of Ed Sullivan, she wanted to do a documentary on her grandfather. Okay.
Mm.
And as she was conjuring up this idea to do this documentary, she has this happenstance meeting with Shabazz, Ambassador Shabazz,
Hmm.
which is Malcolm X's daughter.
Right.
And so now she's just meeting with Malcolm X's daughter, and Malcolm X's daughter is saying, "Oh my gosh, you're such a star to us." And she's like, "What are you talking about? Your grandfather was so important to our family." And she said, "What do you mean?" And then he told the same story that I just told. It was the only place that we
Mm.
could go to see people that look like us. He's a hero. He's a hero. And then Margot got the idea, oh, well, you know what? Maybe we'll do it from that perspective. So
Hmm.
now she takes her production company and she goes and she meets with uh, a guy by the name of Rafi Marmor, who is the owner of Delirio Films, right? And now they collectively go to look for a director that they feel can tell this story from that incredible perspective, right? So they end up finding Sasha Jenkins. And of course, Sasha Jenkins, he did the 50 Cent's bio, he did the Beastie Boys bio, he was a writer on the Boondocks, he was editor for Vibe magazine.
Hmm.
Vibe magazine. And he was just the perfect person. Now, what happens is I had worked on two projects with Sasha before this. I worked on the Biz Markie documentary and I worked on the Rick James documentary. Okay. So naturally, when they got with him, he called me and said, "Hey, I would like you to executive produce on this
Hmm.
documentary with us because of your skill set, your history, your contact base, blah, blah, blah." Right.
Right.
And so I said, "But you know, the where they need to come from." He said, "Yeah, you don't even have to talk about it." He said, "I know it." And the thing about it is that how he knew it, I don't quite know because he was a little younger and he never got to see the actual show. But
Hmm.
once he got in, he saw the footage that Margot was able to provide and all of this kind of stuff. He was all in. So
Hmm.
the inspiration from this whole thing came from Margot Special, who is the granddaughter of Ed Sullivan, and
Yeah.
it's been a passion project for her because she's been involved in this project maybe 10 years. I just got involved 3 years ago, to kind of to after Sasha got involved.
Yeah. Kerry, what was it, do you think? Well, maybe not think, but actually know from Margot or anybody else behind the scenes. Why was pushing us forward? Why was that so important to Ed Sullivan?
The reason it was so important to Ed is because when Ed came over to the United States, his parents were immigrants, Irish immigrants. And at that time, the Irish were
Mm,
the looked down upon people. And they were looked at as drunkards. They were looked at as lazy. They were looked at as stupid. They were looked at negatively. And um, Ed Sullivan's father knew that that was ridiculous, and
hmm.
and he passed that down to his children. But not to mention that they lived in Harlem.
Hmm.
So what happens is now Ed Sullivan grew up having black friends and understanding that black people were just people, just like all people. And he thought that it was ridiculous to discriminate someone based on just the color of their skin. And
Hmm.
so his thing was is that no, I am not going to discriminate. My criteria for my show is, do they entertain me and will they entertain my audience? Right? And it just so happens that black people,
Hello.
right, are
Yes.
the best. right?
Yes.
We create the culture, we create the coolness, we create all of the stuff, the music, the whole shot, right? The dancing, everything,
Absolutely.
right? We create that culture. It becomes cool after the black people embrace it. And he knew that from the beginning. So he also was fearless in saying, listen, I don't care what the sponsors tell me I can't do. If the
Mm,
sponsors don't want to do it, then I don't need them, right?
mhm.
Which is a very dangerous place to be, right?
Absolutely.
If the Ku Klux Klan doesn't want me to do it, then too bad. I'm doing it, right? If
Yes.
the broadcasters say that I can't touch the hand of one of my black female guests because that is too salacious or whatever it is, or too accepting, right? I'm gonna do it because these are my friends and
Mm,
they are the most talented and they're the ones who came to my aid when I needed them, not the white people. It was the black people that came and did showed up for him to help him when he was in need, not the white people.
yes. So, Kerry, I mean, for Ed Sullivan, he introduced groups like the Temptations and the Supremes to and James Brown's to very, very large audiences. Out of all of those performances and your experiences watching this on TV, which one stood out the most to you?
Well, here's the thing. Because of where I came up,
Mhm.
I have to say I was overjoyed by the Jackson Five. The Jackson Five were my idea of there cannot be a better group. That was my idea at the time. Now, as it went to performers, James Brown was the first person that made me want to be a performer because James Brown was literally there's a lot of times when you see these documentaries on James Brown and stuff, they show him, but they don't show how incredible he really was. His
Mhm.
dancing, and people didn't even realize that James Brown could sing. They just thought he
Right.
just yahoo. This guy could sing his butt off, right? And also people said he's not saying anything in his songs. He's not saying
Mhm.
his songs aren't that great, right? But I submit to you that, when he says stuff like a woman's got to do what she got to get just what she wants,
Right.
that is a real thing.
Right. That's poetry.
That's poetry, right?
Yes.
you know but my point is that it was James Brown, which would probably be my number one performer all time, Michael Jackson, which would probably be my number one love of all time, and probably the greatest. I mean, these two guys are probably the two greatest performers ever in the
Mhm.
history of performances in the music business, and everybody else is secondary. Now, there were other great musicians, right, that were incredible, like Prince and Jimi Hendrix and folks like that, right? But
Yes.
I have to tell you, it was James Brown and Michael Jackson and the Jackson.
Yes. And
Well,
the Jackson.
let me say the Jackson Five,
Right.
right? It was a thing. It was a thing, and plus their songs were so good and so well written. See, people thought that those songs that the Jacksons did were teeny bop, right?
Mhm.
Let's see. What does he say? Alexander Culture. Let's see. I'm the one you need. Those other guys will put you down. Let's see. Then ruin your reputation. They may label you a flirt. The way they talk about you, they'll turn your name to dirt. Listen to this. Listen to this. Isaac said he kissed you beneath
Mm.
the apple tree. When Benji held your hand, he felt electricity. When Alexander called you, he said he rang your chimes. And Christopher discovered you're way ahead of your time. I mean, that was a history lesson
Absolutely.
inside of the song. People didn't understand that these songs were great. ABC wasn't a teeny bopper song. What they were saying was ABC is easy as 1, 2, 3, simple as do, re, mi, ABC, 1, 2, 3, baby, you and me. That's how easy love should be. If it's not as easy as the ABCs, then it's really not love. It
Love
needs
that.
to be that easy. It needs to be that easy. And it needs to be that simple. And if you're with somebody and it's not that simple, then it's not true love.
Yes. All right. Kerry, for you, without telling too much, what's your favorite part in the documentary?
Again, I hate this. Well, okay, so I have so many favorite parts of the documentary. I love the intro when everybody is coming in and you can kind of see what the Ed Sullivan show was about and the type of talent and the type of talent that he had in the doc. I love the Harry Belafonte talking about the civil rights and all that he had to do in order not to be blacklisted and blackballed. And it was Ed Sullivan that saved him. I love that. I love the backstory behind how Ed Sullivan went from a journalist to an entertainment guy. I love that. And then
I do too.
I love when Stevie Wonder did that harmonica thing. When he did that harmonica thing, and I was shocked at how really good he was at 13 years old. And then I love that Jackson 5 thing that they did. And can you imagine? Check this out. So they do a year. They do Sullivan a couple of times in this year, the first year, right?
Right.
And their first tour, listen to this. Their first tour was at Madison Square Garden. Who in their first tour does Madison Square Garden? That's because of the popularity. I mean, they got 50 million people 50 million kids to fall in love with them immediately after that first show. Who are these kids? Right? And they were great.
That's amazing. Kerry, what's next on the horizon I got another question for you. Ed Sullivan, he was very, very responsible for pushing Black excellence into the mainstream. Do you think that media today, do they still have that responsibility, and why?
Well, first of all, I don't think they have that responsibility. As a matter of fact, I think it's the opposite. And I think that the way that the new administration is looking at it, it's not even a relevant issue, right? As a matter of fact, it's going backwards.
Yeah.
Taking the history out of the books and all this kind of stuff. It's going backwards. But I think that what needs to happen is somebody like me with passion and purpose needs to continue doing these kind of things. And people like you need to continue to support that thing. And then everybody that hears you needs to say, you know what, let me do my part and spread the word so our people know what Keith is saying about what Kerry is doing, right? That is what needs to happen. And people need to educate their children on our history. They need to, these kids need to know that it just didn't start here, with Kendrick Lamar. right? It didn't start here because Kendrick
Hmm.
can basically say anything he wants to say. It wasn't like that in the beginning. We we could not even put black faces on our album covers. Can you
Hmm.
imagine? My father put white people playing white people sitting on the beach with a beach ball on an Isley Brothers cover.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean, think about that. I don't know anybody less black than the Isley Brothers, right? But in order to get racked in the stores, right, and in order to sell the product, especially in the South, you could not sell a product that had a black face on it,
Hmm.
right? And it certainly wouldn't be racked in a retail store, right?
Right.
So that was the way it was then, and we need to do whatever we can to make sure that everybody knows, especially that next generation. Because here's the thing: if this generation that we're in right now loses this and doesn't put this word out, that next generation is not going to even know Motown.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely two generations from losing Michael Jackson if we don't talk about it, right?
Right.
From losing Stevie Wonder, from losing Luther Vandross, from losing all of those things. But ain't nobody gonna lose Elvis, and ain't nobody gonna lose the Beatles,
Right. Very interesting point. That's right.
right?
Yes. Yes. Whew. Kerry Gordy, how can everybody check out Sunday Best?
Sunday Best. It's easy. Go to Netflix and put in Sunday Best, right? On some people's, it'll be on the crawl because they've liked things that are similar,
Right,
right?
right, right, right.
But if it's not on your crawl, then go and you can find it in new, under the new, or you can type it in Sunday Best Netflix, and make sure to give it the two thumbs up, because that way it creates that algorithm that
Hmm.
they can see. We're already most liked. I mean, we're already in the most liked category, which is great. We've had over 500 positive reviews. We came out with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. We
Yes.
got 5 stars in the New York Times, right? I mean,
Hmm.
this thing has taken its own life, and now people are calling me. I'm a filmmaker, and I've done 3 films. Well, I'm on my 4th film right now, but I've done 3 films, and now over the last 2 weeks, I've been bombarded with people. Can you make my film with me? Can you do this? Can we get together and blah blah blah? Right? They have no clue of what it takes to get a film made,
Right.
especially as it relates to sound recording and performance arts rights in publishing. Right?
Right, right, right.
It's rough.
It's a lot. Carrie, this has been phenomenal. I'm gonna have to bring you back on the show so we can just even talk about more about just the business of the industry. Yeah, this has been fantastic. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Okay. At Kerry Gordy Official. I'm on Instagram.
All right.
Kerry Gordy Official.
Yes. Living Legacy, Kerry Gordy. Thank you so much for joining me on Black in the Green Room on KBLA Talk 1580. I appreciate your time so much.
Man, this was great, and thank you for spreading the word and helping the kids know, and everybody know that there's things out there that they really need to know about from a cultural and historical perspective.
Absolutely.
So
I
it's
definitely agree.
it's Sunday Best on Netflix,
All
and it's the
right.
story, the untold story of Ed Sullivan from a black perspective.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we love it when it's black. All right. Carrie Gordy, thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Good deal.
You are Black in the Green Room with me, your host, Keith Underwood, and this is your spot for real talk about entertainment with entertainers, creatives, and showbiz professionals.